Welcome to Renosa's Monthly Power Insights. As your trusted Pacific Northwest manufacturer's rep in the emergency power generation industry, we are proud to offer expert guidance on genset components. Throughout the series, we'll explore how to optimize system design, select the right equipment, and support uninterrupted power. Whether you're an engineer, specifier, or project manager, we're here to help you design smarter, install more confidently, and keep the power on when it matters most. Let's dive in.
All right, Lori and the Renosa team, thanks for organizing. We're going to do a bit of a Foxfab overview here and some Q&A after that. So what we'll cover, I'm going to try to keep this to half an hour, but we'll cover the brief history. We'll cover our capabilities and certifications, talk a little bit about why one would need a connection cabinet, our product portfolio, and then we'll have a little bit of a Q&A. We won't go too far into the applications, but we'll touch on some of them. So Foxfab was started back in 2007 in a small shop in Maple Ridge, British Columbia, as a lighting pole manufacturer, and we slowly transformed that into the power solution side of things. That goes back about 13 years ago now. And today we're partnered with a large group of companies called the Novopole Group of Companies, who have 5 factories across North America and about a 300 plus person organization now. So we have some great resources on that end of things. That's our building that you see there in the picture. And we always like to say we're nimble like a fox, although we're growing quite rapidly these days. We try and kind of maintain that ability to react to the market and the customer. And our company and the way that we're structured is we have all capabilities internal, and all of our expertise are internal. And we have a group of products that are ETL listed to UL 1008 standards. We have IBC approval, which we'll touch on later. And we have a range of other product approvals within UL and CSA and CUL, as well as ETL throughout our portfolio of products. Just some pictures of our facility. On the left-hand side there, you're seeing our assembly area, and on the right-hand side, you're seeing our powder coating facility. The powder coating facility really gives us a little bit of a leg up on special finishes and just the quality of finish that we're able to provide within the powder coating. It's a process that requires brush blasting before all the enclosures are powder coated, which gives kind of maximum adhesion. People in that world talking salt spray testing, and we're able to meet or exceed all of the industry standard requirements in that space. Our capabilities, you're seeing one of our pieces of punch equipment up there in the top left corner. Top right, you're seeing some brake presses. Bottom right, you're seeing a copper punch to process bus bar. And all of our welding and fabrication is done in-house. And then, of course, in the bottom left, you're seeing there a portion of our powder coating facility and some of the enclosures hung to go into the oven. Capabilities and certifications on this side, I mentioned this previously. There are a wide range of product certifications within the manufacturing space. We're primarily focused, of course, on the electrical side of things. And you'll see there on the far left-hand side of the UL 50, which is for enclosures, 508A, which is for panel shops, control panel, that sort of thing. UL 1008 which is written around transfer switches. 1773 written around termination cabinets, and then 891 is the design and manufacture of basic switchboards and switchboard lineups. And then across all the way to the right, you see a variation of those supported by other nationally recognized testing laboratories. So there are a range, and we do work with 3 of those laboratories as seen on the screen. IBC certification. So for us being up in the Pacific Northwest, this is a big one for us. We had our entire product portfolio from 100 amps all the way up to 4,000 amps, IBC certified. As you can see there were live videos taken of all of the certification. I witnessed all of them. We continue to build out that portfolio of certified products throughout some of our other areas, but the entire generator and load bank connection cabinet line has IBC seismic approval. And the way I looked at this approval is it wasn't just so we could put the stamp on it to say it was IBC approved. It was also to put our product through some rigorous testing to understand how it would hold up. Interesting, I had an engineer comment that, they've had materials show up on their job site, and after shipping, some pieces were, looked damaged and had kind of popped out of their placement. And, part of this testing, although it's built around seismic certification, it just kind of gives the client that peace of mind that the product is built in a very, kind of stable and functional way for the life of the product. So some industries that we've served over the last several years, we've really touched on all of them. Of course, the data center side of things is really hot right now, so we're seeing a big uptick in the data center groups as well as the supporting infrastructure around them. But nonetheless, there's all of the other pieces around banking, healthcare, and all of those pieces that have been around for quite some time. We continue to serve all those markets, and I'm sure they will be stable for years to come. But we've really touched into kind of every corner of the market at this point. So that's just a brief slide to show that. The NEC 700 section continues to evolve. And of course, way back when this code was written around basically allowing for a permanent system to be put in place without unhooking cables and wires when it came to temporary generator connection or load bank connection. And the code continues to evolve within this space. And I'm sure we'll see some updates on the next NEC. But contact us if you're unsure about how you want to kind of design your system, or you're unsure if there's a product that could be offered that could satisfy a requirement that you think you might have on a job site that you're working on. There's a good chance we're able to accommodate it. And this just goes through some of the portion of the 700.3 section that that's highlighted there in yellow. And I'll have a copy of this slide deck available if folks want to chat further about some of the detail within it. And this slide just kind of summarizes it. And then there's a separate section for 700.3 in both the US and Canada. So why do I need a connection cabinet? As question has primarily been answered, I think, in most of the jobs out there, but we still do get end users coming to us that are new to the space and they're not totally sure why the connection cabinet might be a fit for them. You don't have to have a generator on site to need a connection cabinet. You can simply have a building where there is no generator available and you want to have that option to bring in a temporary generator, or you can have a building with multiple generators and you want to be able to pull them offline and service them while still pulling up a temporary generator. And then secondly to that, if you do have generators on site and you want to load bank test them, having a proper load bank cabinet in place that may offer temp gen as well as load banking for your system, it really will reduce your overall cost of maintenance on your facility by allowing the load banking company to simply roll up their load bank, connect it while pulling up a temporary generator if you need it. So there's many kind of immediate and future benefits in setting up temp gen connection or load bank connection or a combination of both within your facility. And this slide just kind of summarizes all of that, what I just mentioned there. So our product portfolio made up of a range of products from, as mentioned, from 100 amp, and we actually do go higher than 4,000 amp. That was just what I mentioned was tested currently on the IBC slide, but we do build up to 5,000 amps. And our product is made up of, within the generator connection space, of FFCC, Foxfab connection cabinet. And we do wall mount and pad mount designs. We also do wall mount designs with leg kits as needed for maybe a smaller cabinet that's out on a site and wants to be a pad mount, but it's just a smaller amperage cabinet. We can offer a leg kit. All of our all of our products within this line are made of 5052 marine grade aluminum as standard, or stainless steel as an optional upgrade. Assemblies up to 5,000 amp as mentioned, and currently rated up to 600 volts. So I do think that there are different levels of electrical cabinets, let's call them, or electrical products when they're put onto a job site, and really they all have to pass a certification. They all have to have this similar functionality, but in the end, there are a lot of little features that add up to a significantly increased value and lifespan within the install of the product. So that's what we have tried to capture within the product that we manufacture. All of our outdoor enclosures are fully welded. And so that means each edge has a seam all the way down it that's ground smooth and clean. And then all of the louvers are formed right into the doors instead of a louver plate that may be put on after. Part of the problem when you put on a louver plate after is it kind of creates an area for moisture to get trapped in between. And so when you have the louvers built right into the doors, it simply doesn't have that extra area where corrosion can start. 3-point handles on all of our product models. So it just gives a really solid door lock when you're shutting the door. Not a huge deal in some of the smaller enclosure sizes, but as you get outside in some of the larger enclosures, these doors are fairly substantial, and you want them to be robust. And the other thing is, on an outdoor, we do have a door stay. When there's wind, when you're working on a job site and there's wind and you're working with a door that's 60, 70, 80 inches tall, you want to have the door stay so the door doesn't get damaged in the wind, or close when the wind hits the opposite side of it. All the doors are bonded. The stainless steel hinge pins within the doors there, and cable rakes within the product. And we do have service entrance capabilities and Kurt key options within those products as well. Try and make the dead fronts easy to lift off. For those of you that have worked on switchboards, some of the pieces of the board get quite heavy, and it can be very challenging when you're one person trying to pull off one of the dead front covers there. And so you'll see in the board on the right hand side there, you see handles that are actually on the dead front covers that need to come off for termination. So makes it a little bit easier there. We etch all of the markings onto the cam plates. It'll say gen or load bank or each of the phases, and that just helps less things that need replacement in the future. The Type 3R enclosures all have weep holes in the bottom to make sure that there's no moisture getting trapped in there. Again, moisture is basically the enemy of outdoor electrical equipment. And all of our products have stainless steel handles on the spec grade models. There's a slide of our copper bus manufacturing there, and we invested heavily in the capability to be able to process efficiently, and we have invested heavily as well on the inventory side of things to make sure that we have all bus bar sizes from 1 inch up to 8 inch, and giving us the ability to complete small all the way up to some of our 5,000 amp switchboards in a timely manner. So we'll go through the portfolio here quickly. On the generator connection side, this is the CLC cabinet. It's essentially just a lug in, lug out situation. This can be advantageous on a job site where they're really unsure if they're going to have access to cam locks. It might be a military site overseas. It might be a mining site. It might be a heavy industrial site way out in a rural location, and ultimately they want to be able to just connect cable and get the job done, and that's why you don't see cam locks in that product. And moving into the B1 series, this allows us to go up to 4,000 amps within this product series, and it's a wall mount series. So having up to 4,000 amps in a wall mount series gives us a good spot for load bank testing on the side of a building, something like that. There could be a range of applications for this, but the 4,000 amp in the wall mount is the unique piece to this product. And then we can do the same thing. But there's just a picture inside actually of the unit. And we also do the same thing without cams in a lug in, lug out situation there. So similar to the CLC that I showed initially, but this product has the two separate sections with the front doors there, and also cable can come in the bottom side there onto the bus bar. The C series, this is our real workhorse at Foxfab. This covers off at least 60 to 70% of the business out there for connection cabinets. We build this product from the top left corner with no main device, and the top right corner with a manual transfer switch in it. We do have it with an automatic transfer switch in it as well now. Bottom left corner, you see a single breaker, and the bottom right corner, you see a dual breaker to give us a range of capabilities throughout that line of products from 60 amp up to 2,000 amp. You will see that line of products just depending on what configuration you're after. But yeah, let us know. And these enclosures are pretty quick to get out of the shop. We can typically get some of these out in 4 to 6 weeks, and some of the slightly more sophisticated versions where you've got dual breaker and many options are more in the 10 to 12 week range, but this is the workhorse of our product line. And here's the pad mount series of the product line. So much larger, up to 4,000 amp, and you can get those, again, no main device, and you can have them with a range of other devices in it, whether it's single breaker, dual breaker. We can have large transfer switches put in there. We can have a combination of transfer switches and breakers. We also build this unit, as seen in the bottom there, as an automatic transfer switch with cam locks on both the load bank side and the temp gen side. We can build these in service entrance as well. And you'll see a good picture on the next slide here that briefly shows you kind of the interior of one of the units there. I believe that was a 3,000 amp unit with load bank and temp gen connections on it. So, and I'll just briefly pop into this. This is just the three-way switch sequence of operation. This is a product most are familiar with. It just gives you basically the isolation to have a load bank tied into your permanent generator and a temporary generator tied into your ATS, just as you'll see on the right-hand side there. So that's the bypass operation that most people seek when they buy this product, because it really does give you the best of both worlds. It gives you the ability to load bank, pulling that main generator offline while having a temp gen pulled in to make sure that there's no interruption in service. And then this just talks about the details of the unit: wall mount up to 1200 amp, pad mount up to 5000 amp, and all of your regular features and functions that you have come to know on all of our other products. Just a view internally of some of the versions there gives you just an idea of kind of how the product is built and some of the finer details. Transfer switches, both non-fused and fused type, as well as breaker based. So we do a range of products with no cams. They may or may not have overcurrent protection depending on what's required by site, but that does give us a range of options from manual into automatic transfer switching. We do have a company switch as well. We've launched this product this year. It's quite popular already, and we're offering it all the way up to 4,000 amp for those scenarios where you've got large industrial sites or things like that. You may see something up into those larger amperages where this is giving power to certain portions of the site. Typical is kind of 1 to 400 amp, but we've built them in 800, 1200, and all the way up to 4,000 for various conventions and things like that. And then they'll get split and broken down from those higher amperages. We've also really focused on building our product portfolio to cover off many of the needs on the generator switchboard side. So you'll see a generator switchboard where they want service entrance capability, they want temp gen capability, they want transfer switches, they want distribution breakers for life safety loads. And so we've created a range of switchboards that will cover off all of those needs. And while there isn't any one specific way that it could be shown, we want to encourage people to bring their drawings into us and bring in those opportunities and work through some of those areas as to how we could design some of those products. We've got a range of UPS maintenance bypass switches all the way up to 5,000 amp, and that range of products gives us gives us an insight into some of the UPS data center work that's been going on, and that side of the business has picked up quite rapidly, and we weren't really expecting it. So we're happy we've jumped into that space. And then the ATS, as mentioned before, with cam locks, that's part of the C2 product line. So let us know if there's anything on that side of things that we can help with. So we'll do service entrance on the ATSs as well. And there's a service entrance compartment over on the right-hand side in the picture there. So that should give you a pretty good idea about all of the different products that we're servicing within the marketplace. And then just to kind of talk about control panels and that sort of thing within our product mix, we do have all the capabilities to really develop out some of those more sophisticated control sections within some of the switchboards, and depending on what the application requires, we'll be able to cover that. There's just an image of one of the boards that we built, just to give you an idea. And those compartments are all isolated as required by the engineer on that project. So lots of capabilities on the switchboard side of things. And then through into our group of accessories, and of course there really is no finite range of accessories, as there always seems to be something new that somebody's bringing forward. But let us know what you're seeing. If it's not on our standard spec sheet, please give us a jingle and let us know what you're after on that side of things. And then as mentioned previously, in the powder coating side, because we have our own facility, we've done yellows and reds and greens and oranges and different the university colors and that sort of thing. So anytime there's a custom color that is fantastic for us, we're happy to be there and use our powder coating facility for that. And back to the material specifications on the core group for our product line, 5052 aluminum, as mentioned. So that's the base level product you'll see on all of our outdoor equipment, which really does stand the test of time. I've seen some of our equipment that's now 10 years old out in the marketplace. I'm actually going to go get a picture of that to put it in this slideshow, because it's one of the malls not too far from here, and still looks fantastic. But then, of course, 304 and 316 stainless, should somebody want to specify those as well on the job. And I think that's about as far as we'll go on the slide portion of the product group. The rest of the slides that I have in here are more technical into some of the deep details of some of the product, in which I would encourage anybody that has any questions or wants to talk about some of the power schemes and the way that we've kind of set things up, or just brainstorm generally, get a hold of Renosa, get a hold of us, and we're happy to talk about how we might be able to collaborate or solve the problem that you're looking at on your job site. And from that, I think you guys may have had a couple questions for myself, or if there's anything I missed, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. I wrote down a few questions.
Sure.
So we're super excited about the IBC certification, obviously,
Yeah.
as Renosa primarily serves the Pacific Northwest, where this certification is often required.
Yeah.
Can you tell us if there's anything that you were surprised about during that process? Were there many adjustments that needed to be achieved through that certification?
I think it was just a little bit of a learning experience from our end, just to understand how the certification works. And so for those who haven't gone through it, basically what you're looking at is you're looking at kind of an upper and a lower bookend for each of the product groups. So for instance, if you're doing something that had to be, kind of in the 4,000 amp range, you're going to have to test that with all of the breakers, all of the maximum weight that you could possibly put in that. And when it starts to come down to it, you're adding, transformers, you're adding Kirk keys, you're adding many of the smaller features that really add up to the total mass of the product. But yeah, I guess I knew it. I knew that it existed, but I wasn't really well versed within the space. Some of our engineers had a little more experience than I did, but yeah, I don't know about surprises other than just how much detail you really had to go down to make sure that your product would meet or exceed all the requirements during the shake test.
On the shake test, Kevin, is OshPod in the works for any of the units in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. I expect to have all of our OshPod completed by I'd say end of Q1 next year. We have all of the wall mounts already completed. So everything that's wall mount right now has OshPod, and all of that stuff is public information. So that should be either on their site now or on their site within the next few weeks on all the wall mount stuff. And also for us, this isn't just a one shot process just to get whatever we have. It's to kind of continue building out the product line. And as mentioned, you saw some of the other products we're developing, and we'll make sure to have those available for all those clients that want to have IBC or OshPod or both.
Awesome. Another one I have, this is more of a fun one, but at Renosa, we get to connect with your team on a daily basis,
Yep.
usually more than once a day. And we certainly value that relationship with your team. But is there anything that you can highlight about the Foxfab team that you feels sets Foxfab apart, or that you feel is kind of unique to your team?
Well, I think what's really unique to Foxfab, as we've kind of seen over the last few years, you guys get a little bit of an inside shot that maybe some of the other dealers or customers may not get. But when you talk to some of the people within our facility, they all have deep knowledge of the product. And that's due to the fact that we really took this product mix and specialized heavily in it over the last few years. And from the guys out in the shop that are manufacturing it, we have guys that have been here, over 10 years. Some of the guys on our design team have been here over 10 years. Um, some of the folks that do some of the programming been here over 10 years. So you will really see and hear that deep knowledge on the product side of things, regardless of who you're talking to. And I think that's something that we bring to the market that may be unique to a company in this space.
That's fantastic. The ATS is a relatively new product offering for Foxfab. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about how this got added to Foxfab's lineup, and maybe what applications is the Foxfab ATS best suited for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So on a lot of facilities, I would say both small and large facilities, you get set up where you've got basically a service entrance feed, and then you want to be able to have a generator or a temporary generator in some circumstances available to that site. And if you had the requirement for an ATS, but you also want to have the requirement for a temporary generator, it's only natural that you kind of give yourself both of those capabilities within a single enclosure to reduce the install time and reduce the overall cost actually of the install. So there are there are many applications where, especially in some of the larger amperages, where you're really taking 2 or even 3 pieces of equipment, putting it into a single piece, and allowing that to serve all of the same needs that those other 3 pieces of equipment might have served, while obviously taking up far less real estate and a lower capital investment from the end user.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know the guys have been really highlighting that for people on the front end here at Renosa.
Yeah, well, I saw yesterday there was some feedback came back on one of our smaller ATS units. I think that was from Dustin, and that was really good to see. It was a very positive piece of feedback, right? So
Yeah.
that's great to hear. And I think it was one of those situations where they had worked with several other pieces of equipment and then realized, hey, this is kind of doing both of these things in one, right? So I think that was actually cool to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. If someone were to go to your website, is there something that you would highlight about that space for customers?
In regards to the website as a whole,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, we've redone the website. Yeah, we've tried to make it easy to navigate, and I don't think there is a perfect way to be able to navigate electrical equipment. Um, you kind of go around and try and decide how you want to break it down, but one of the things about the way that we've got the website laid out is we've tried to lay it out by the device or the main device within the product, right? So essentially you can go through it and try and decide. And in the generator connection side of things, everything seems to be single breaker, dual breaker, transfer switch, and that. So we've tried to kind of follow that methodology. But you can simply just click on all products if you want, and then you can simply go through all of the products. And sometimes it's a form factor that people are trying to solve when they're looking at a job site. Hey, I've got a remote pad, you know, 400 feet from my building, and I want something to sit on it. Well, they're not going to pick a wall mount unit, right? And so I guess some of that, as well as the resources section, does have some good information about the product. So yeah, I would encourage people just to go check it out. And there's always new products up and coming, and when they are, they'll be put in the agent's hands, and hopefully from there out to all the end users.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's all the questions I had. Dustin, Austin, do either of you have anything else you want to either ask Kevin or add to the conversation here about Foxfab, your experiences?
I would just say things have been fantastic in the years I've been working for Renosa. Shipping included, prices on the quoted equipment include shipping to you / the job site across our territory, Alaska, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, which is always super helpful, and covering any inadvertent issues during shipping.
Yeah, that's a big piece that's
huge.
included in the quoting for sure.
Essential, and less variables down the road when you go to order and try to figure out how to get things to the site. And yeah, usually pricing wise, we're one of the cost leaders, even with shipping included in quoted pricing. So
Yeah,
Nice.
we tried to make sure a few years ago that most of the competitors actually don't include freight. We just decided that we wanted the customer experience to be just a little bit easier on the administration side of things. So once they've sent a purchase order in, we specifically hire agents who are well versed, like Renosa, in the kind of the administrative process throughout that. And Lori does an amazing job on that side. And we really want the customer just to place the order, approve the drawings, and then that's the end of the process for them. And they're not paying anything extra. And that's our hope, is that people do value that side of things. And we've had some good feedback on it. So
For sure. Dustin?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I just wanted to highlight that ATS unit that was out there, that the tech was almost beside himself how great it was, and how nice it was to work with, how robust it was. And that just goes with the other part of that being that Foxfab is kind of, I don't want to say custom, but you guys are very, very flexible in accommodating the customers if there's any, unique situations that come up, and you guys are excellent to work with, and so that's about it.
No,
Appreciate it.
appreciate that. Do you know what kind of job that was? Like what kind of job site?
I don't. It was. I only know the name of it, but I could probably get some more info, maybe some pictures.
Yeah, no, it's just
So
always interesting. Always interesting to see what type of job sites there are, our equipment's going into. And it is hard to actually get pictures. So if anybody out there has pictures of the
sure.
job, we would love to see. The more pictures, the better. We'll get them up on our website and that sort of thing when they're suitable. So
I love that you mentioned that, like at universities, they can do
Colors.
university colors. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have one going right now. But yeah, they're pretty common. We do see several of those. And yeah, some of the colors are pretty wild.
Very on brand. That's cool. Well, thanks, Kevin. We sure appreciate your time here with us. And thanks for everyone listening and watching in. We hope that you will continue to sit with us in these insight spaces and learn some things. If anyone has questions, please feel free to get in touch with us at Renosa. Or if you have ideas about things that you'd like to see us cover, we're open to that too. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on today's episode. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about the companies that Renosa represents, stay on for a few minutes with Austin.
Hello, and thanks for connecting with us. Austin Toth here from Renosa. We're a manufacturer's rep firm covering the Pacific Northwest, including Alaska, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana. And we like to be a one-stop shop for everything that goes along with the backup diesel gen set. So anything and everything backup primary power generator, we like to be a connection point, and I'd like to run through our lines real quick that we carry. And so to start off, we'll go on the electrical product side. We have Active Power as well as Pillar. Pillar is a flywheel rotary UPS system, and Active Power also has battery backup UPS systems. We also have a company called Direct Wire. They do cable, industrial cables, and wires. Usually they're cam lock connection cables for load bank or temporary generator hookup. Foxfab is based out of Vancouver, BC. They are a camlock connection cabinet, manual transfer switch, Kurt key interlock, triple switches, anything you need on site for camlock connections between the primary gen and the load. They also recently incorporated an ATS line, which combines the ATS and then either a temp gen and or a load bank camlock connection cabinet into one unit. So it's kind of an all-in-one solution. And then we have Stored Energy Systems, SENS. They're a genset and industrial battery charging company based out of Colorado. They do DC power systems. They use SAFT and nickel cadmium alcad batteries. They also have a brand new product called the 8Z, which is an all-in-one genset starting system using nickel zinc battery chemistry. And it's kind of the new thing. It's the Ferrari of offerings. We have Simplex, which is load banks. We have freestanding and radiator mount, as well as resistive and reactive load banks. And then last on the electrical product side is Marathon, which does alternators, 5 kilowatts to 4 megawatts. They have heavy duty, harsh duty, Mariner rated units, the Lima Max, responder duty, and then pancakes alternators as offerings. And then on the mechanical side of our line card, we have Diesel Radiator Company. They do industrial radiators, heat exchangers, coolers. They're based out of Chicago and can do retrofits and repairs, fixes of broken systems. Next is Furwin, making removable insulation blankets. They're based out of Toronto, high temperature thermal insulation products, very customizable wraps and snaps, anything that you need. Next is Fuel Technologies, based out of Las Vegas, fuel maintenance systems or fuel polishers for the diesel storage tanks. 1,000 gallon tanks up to 60,000 gallon tanks, single tank systems as well as multi-tank systems. And Fuel Technologies FTI is the only FM approved fuel polisher available on the market. Next is Miratech Corporation. They do exhaust silencers. They've got EM, Cowl. They purchased Maxim recently in the last year. So they have emission controls, SCR systems, diesel particulate filters, DOCs, and then Tier 4 compliance in Oregon and Washington specifically will be more and more prevalent as the years go by. And then Miratech also does heat recovery systems through PowerTherm. Next on the mechanical side is OptiBlend, also known as Eden Innovations. They're a biofuel system, and OptiBlend is about displacing the diesel with up to 70% natural gas or another alternative fuel, which helps lower the cost by using less diesel, as well as reducing the NOx, PM, and CO2 coming out of the genset by removing diesel and making natural gas more of the combustible component. On the mechanical side, we also have Simplex for day tanks and fuel maintenance systems, pump sets, filtration, that kind of thing. And then last but not least, on our mechanical side is Sutton Stromont, which is another radiator company, and they do heavy duty, harsh environment radiators. So we sell a lot of those up in Alaska specifically, but they can be incorporated harsh duty on the coast, islands, Hawaii, that kind of thing. Thank you so much. And please feel free to reach out to myself, Austin, covering Oregon and Washington. My co-owner, Dustin, covers Idaho, Alaska, and Montana. And then my coworker, Lori Jane, is also on board. So thank you so much, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.